morning everyone. So in last lecture we have discussed about cybercrime. So today we are going to discuss the classification of cybercrime. So here we go. See, classification of cybercrime. See, crime involves basically the activities which are done through the cyberspace and the devices are connected through the internet. So at times when we are talking about cybercrimes, they are also called computer crimes. And when we are talking about computer crimes, why we name it computer crimes? Because we can say the hackers or the criminals are targeting the computers, or they are using computer as a tool for committing the crime. So here when we are talking about these cyber crimes, it basically involves that they are committing crimes, and we can also call it cyber crimes. So cyber criminals commit crimes with motives, like they have some personal motives, or it can be monetary, or it can be any political motive for some political profit or some personal gain. They can commit those crimes. Then when we are classifying the cyber crime, so the major objective for committing such crime is to gather the confidential data from people, and they are using it for some monitoring, some political and some personal motives. So generally when cyber crimes can be classified under 3 heads, and they can be grouped at target. Means the heads are cyber crimes against individual, means the crimes can be committed against individual. Then it can be committed against any organization, and it can be also commit against any society at large. So we have divided the cybercrime at 3 parts, which is crime against individual, any person or any organization, and it can be committed at large scale. Then we are talking about how cybercrime is committed against individual. So there are some technologies they use, some malwares they use, some softwares they are using it for committing crime. So when we are talking about how cybercrime against individual is committed, so the types are cyberbullying, then cyber stalking, then defamation, phishing, cyber fraud, cyber theft, and spyware. So we'll go through all these one by one. All these points we'll cover one by one. Firstly, we'll discuss what is cyberbullying. So the term is not defined under any Indian law. However, in general, we can say cyberbullying refers to bullying someone, means by threatening, by harassing or embarrassing the victim by using any technological devices. So generally, it involves some activities. So whenever this process takes place or cyberbullying takes place, so it is like you are humiliating, anyone is embarrassing the person about the online victim, like the things which the person is performing online, and they can be blackmail them. So hacking social media accounts, like someone is having their social media accounts, so someone can hack their accounts, and they can also blackmail them on the basis of their account. They can also log into their activities. They are viewing their day-to-day activities, then posting vulgar messages on social media, like someone is using their accounts, like anyone can have their accounts. We all are using social media sites. So what the criminal can do, they can use their social media account for putting the messages which are not relevant, and the messages are not put by the user himself or herself, but the criminal get the ID, password, or somehow they log into the system and they post these types of messages. Then also threatening the victim to commit any violent activity, and also it can influence the victim to commit any violent activity. Then also there are some child pornography, or threatening someone with child pornography is also the type of crime which can be committed when it comes to cyberbullying. So under the section 67 of the IT Act, section 60E, section 50, section 507, there are some penalties which one needs to pay if he or she or any criminal try to perform these types of attack. Then we are talking about cyber stalking. So in stalking, like when we are talking about stalking, generally we can say someone is stalking, means someone is keeping eye on person's day-to-day activity. So means browsing anyone's internet history or online activity, or you sending some obscene content with the help of any platform, any software or any application to know about what the particular person is doing is basically refers to as cyber stalking. So cyber stalking, basically the person is blackmail them, and the person is what is the motive of the criminal here? He is stalking the person's account or the day-to-day activity, or what type of accounts they are using, and what are the activities they are performing online, and which social media apps they are using. So they are keeping eye on that. So when we are talking about cyber stalking, it is basically browsing someone's history, online activity and many more, and they can send some obscene content with the use of applications, some platforms. So cyber stalkers, basically they are taking the advantage of the obsceneness by providing the internet. So they are not, means these victims are not very detectable. Like they will create some fake account and they will view the activities. They will keep eye on someone's activity and they perform what then they will perform what they want to do. So basically the victims what will do, they will open some spam accounts. So to stalk the activities of a person, they'll open a fake account and they will view the activities. So it is very less to identify, and it is very we can say ki it's not important, and we can not clearly or generally detect those victims, as they are very smart. So what they will do, they'll create their identity as they are the authorized users, and they will create some spam accounts or some fake accounts on social media sites, and they will keep eye on the activities of a person. Then once the stalker stalk the accounts, and once their motive is completed, what they do, they remove the account, means their identity is completely deleted. They will completely vanish the identity so that no one can detect what is performed or what has been done. So there are some acts through which there are some punishments, means when under section 67 of IT Act, when cyber stalker sends or cause to send some published obscene content, then there is imprisonment of 3 years and a fine. Then when we are talking about section 354D of IPC, it deals with stalking. So it is relevant to cyber stalking when under this section, stalker is punishable, and it can go to imprisonment of 3 years and up to a fine of 3 lakh. Then we are talking about cyber defamation. See, cyber defamation means injuring the other person's reputation via the internet or using any social media platform, any email. So when we are talking about cyber defamation, it can be done under two forms, libel and slander. So when we are talking about defamation, means the criminal has a motive and he wants to destroy the particular organization's reputation. So for that, he or she or the criminal will use the victim's accounts, the information of their organization, means somehow they will get into the internal information of the organization for completing their motive. So when we are talking about libel and slander, so libel, it refers to any defamatory statement, means which is in written form. So for instance, they can write some comment on post, they can also forward some messages on social media groups, and they are the part of defamation in the libel. And when we are talking about slander, so it refers to any statement in oral form, like it can be posting any YouTube video on person's account, or it can be like posting any blog, so that the particular organization's reputation can be damaged. So when we are talking about libel and slander, so libel is a statement which is in written form, and it can be in the form of any post and any message which is in any social media group. And when we are talking about slander, so it is referred to the information which is published in oral form, which can be in the form of any blog and any YouTube video, where the false information is published, or the any type of defamatory information is forwarded to users about the particular organization. So there is a punishment for the cyber defamation under the section 67 of IT Act, means whenever the person transmit this type of statements, then the person shall be punished for 2 years, and there is a fine, you can clearly see, of 25,000. So this type of crimes are not legal. Then we are talking about phishing. It refers to phishing refers to the fraudulent practice of sending emails under the pretext of reputable companies to individual to reveal personal information. And what are those personal information? These personal information can be passwords, their credit card numbers, and some online activities. So it refers to impersonating of legitimate persons and fraudulent stealings of someone's data. तो phishing की जब हम when we are talking about phishing, it is basically referring to sending the emails and getting the ID or getting the person's information, and those person information are very sensitive. Like someone is accessing your personal information, they know your ID, they know your password, and also your credit cards number. So they will create some mails, they will send you mails in order, and they'll believe you that they are the authorized users. So they'll create those mails, they'll send you, and they'll get to know your personal information. And you enter those information, means you are in the dilemma that you are sharing the information to authorized users, but you are not, means the information is already shared by you to the criminal, and the criminals not exploit innocent individuals, but also they exploit the reputation. So when the individual get to know the information, complete information about any person they wants to know, so what they will do, they will not only exploit the individual, they can also spoil the reputation of a well-known company or any organization. So under section 66 of IT Act, there are some penalized of offender committing. So what is it? If anyone who committed some fraudulent activity, and if it is using some electronic signature and there is password or any other unique identification, so the person is punishable for 3 years and have a penalty or fine of up to 3 lakh rupees. So this comes under 67C of IT Act penalties, that if anyone is using someone's electronic signature, password or any other information, so the person is punishable for 3 years and can pay up to fine of up to 3 lakh. Then we are talking about cyber fraud. See, as the name suggests, it refers to any fraud committed with the use of computer. Cyber fraud, we have already discussed about cyber. So we know cyber means computer, and fraud. So any fraud or any type of activity which is committed in terms of computer, which is committed with the use of computer, is referred to as cyber fraud. So any person who dishonestly uses the internet to illegal deceive people and for getting some personal data for communication, and the particular person has some motive. So this is called cyber crime, means with motive the person is performing the crime. Some examples are like sending some emails which is containing some fake invoices, and sending some fake emails, and also email address which are similar to official organizations or to some companies, so that they can get the personal data. This is termed to as cyber fraud, and there is no specification for cyber fraud. So under section 420 of IPC, which deals with cheating, applies to cyber fraud. Punishment of cyber fraud under 420 of IPC is imprisonment of up to 7 years with a fine. So when someone is performing cyber fraud, so the person, it comes with section 420 of IPC, that if someone is doing fraud or someone has committed some cyber fraud, then the person can imprisonment of up to 7 years and can also pay a fine. So fine is not defined here, but the imprisonment is defined like it is of 7 years. Then we are talking about cyber theft. So basically it's a crime which involves the unauthorized access of personal or other information of people by using the internet. So the main motive of the cyber criminals who commit cyber theft is to gather the confidential data. And when we are talking about confidential data, it refers to like getting the passwords, some images, some phone numbers, and it is like using it to leverage to demand lump sum amount of money. So main motive of cyber theft here is to get some amount of money for their personal sake. And what they are doing here is they are using the person's information, they get the access. The access is unauthorized access, means they know the ID password and they access someone's system, and they will get the confidential information, and the information can be any ID, any password, some images, some phone numbers, and they will blackmail the users, and they will ask for some amount of money. So what is do the unauthorized transmission of copyright materials when we are talking about cyber theft? So there is some copyright materials like of trademarks also. So transmission is also performed here over the internet, and it is also called cyber theft. So cyber theft are committed through very suspicious means like hacking, emailing, SMS, etc. So it can be performed by SMS spoofing, email, and hacking. So cyber theft basically is like asking for some amount of money, blackmailing the particular person because you have the access, you have the person's personal information, some sensitive information. Then under IT Act, when we are talking about IT Act, data theft is defined under section 43 of 43B, and it is like downloading, copying, or extracting any data, computer database information from such computer and system. So when you are owning or you are entering someone's information, someone's computer system without the user's knowledge or without the permission, or you are accessing any computer, any system without any network, without the permission of its owner. So you have a punishment here, means like punishment of cyber theft especially it is provided under section 66. When we are talking about cyber theft, the punishment is provided under section 66 of the IT Act, and the same is imprisonment of up to 3 years, or you have to pay the fine of up to rupees 2 lakh. So imprisonment up to 3 years and fine of rupees 2 lakh if you perform such type of activities like cyber theft, means you are accessing someone's information, someone's sensitive information, and you are performing some type of hacking, you are sending some emails, some SMS spoofing. So the person is imprisonment of up to 3 years and need to pay a fine of up to rupees 2 lakh. Then we are talking about spyware. So spyware is basically a software or malware where the user, or we can say the hacker, is using it for what they are using. Means when the user or when the hacker is installed some suspicious malware, some software on the system, the user is unaware about those things, because what it will do, it will steal the person's information, and the user is unaware about those things that someone has installed in get the information, their sensitive data is leaked. So spyware is basically referring to as a malware or some malicious software. So when it is installed, it is start accessing and computing the other's device with end user's knowledge. So it will work according to end user's knowledge. Means once this is installed, so the user who is the or who owns the computer or who is the authorized user does not have knowledge about those systems, that someone has installed some malwares or some software in my system, and the main motive or the primary goal of this software is to steal someone's credit card information, some passwords, and some OTPs. So basically the main motive is the user install the software and they will get the information whenever they want. So though end user is unaware that particular software is installed in their systems or the particular malware is installed in their system, basic goal is getting the numbers, getting the card numbers, or getting the OTPs. So when someone has installed some spywares in someone's system, then under section 43 of IT Act, it states that if any person damages the computer system or any other person without his or her permission, he shall be liable to pay damages by compensation to persons affected. So there is not any type of penalties or more, but under section 43 of IT Act, it is clearly mentioned that if someone damages the person's computer, someone damages the person's network, so he without his or her permission, if someone accesses your computer, so there are some damages which are performed and there are some penalties which need to pay, like according to damage, according to the we can say according to the person's system affected, the person or the hacker needs to pay the amount of money. So he need to pay whatever damages is being occurred by them, he need to pay the whole amount here. So spywares are basically softwares which are installed in someone's system for getting the personal information. Now, cybercrime against individual. We have discussed first point, which is now we are discussing about cybercrime against organization. Now, how cybercrime is performing, how cybercrime is taking place against organizations. So, first one is attack by virus, then salami attack, then web jacking, then denial of service attack, then data diddling. So, we will discuss all these one by one here. Now, attack by virus. See, a computer virus is a kind of malware. What it does, it connects itself to another computer program and replicate and expands when any person attempts to run it on their computer system. Like, for example, the opening of unknown attachment received from malicious mails may lead to automatic installation of some softwares in their system. So, when it is opened, the system, the viruses are extremely dangerous as they will destroy the computer data. They can crash the computer also. So, the attacker will hold what the attacker will do. The attackers program such malicious viruses to get hold of organization affected, and when the illegal retrieved data is used for leverage to extract some information from the organization. So, when we are talking about attack by virus, so basically the goal is to send some mail, to send some attachment, or to install some softwares, and when the attachment is sent and whenever the organization opens that information and it clicks on those links, so there is some types of attachment. So, there is some malicious mails, and it will lead to some automatic installation of some viruses, some softwares on the system whenever it is open. And those softwares are very dangerous because once they are open, they can steal the data, they can also destroy the computer data, they can also crash the whole system. So, the main motive is to get the information or to retrieve the information from those viruses, and you're entering someone's system illegally for damaging the reputation or for some sake of money. So, under section 47, under section 384 of IPC, imprisonment for up to 3 years or fine for both. So, if someone is perform attack by virus in any organization, so the attacker needs to pay fine of up to and also he needs to go for imprisonment of up to 3 years. So, these are the fine or some penalties the attacker needs to pay if without the user's knowledge, attack is performed by virus in any particular organization. So, then we are talking about salami attack. So, it is one of the tactics to steal money, which means hackers steal the money in small amount. How? They will damage, the damage done is so minor that it is unnoticed. So, this attack is like, we doesn't notice what is happening in our system, what is happening in our devices. So, generally there are two types of salami attack. One is salami slicing and penny shaving. So, in salami slicing, the attacker uses online database to obtain customer information. And what type of information they obtain? The information can be bank and credit card details. So, the user obtains bank and credit card details. Then over time, what it will do? The attacker will deduct some insignificant amount of money from the person's account, and the sum naturally adds up to a large sum of money taken from the joint's account, which is invisible. Like somehow when there is reduction of money from our account, like the deduction is like 14 rupees, 15 rupees, somehow 25 rupees. So, we doesn't notice all these things because all these things are unnoticeable. So, the attacker will do that, they will get the information, person information, and what they will do, they get the bank and credit card information, and the process takes naturally, and they will add some money from the particular person's account. And according to when someone performs salami attack, so under section 66 of IT attack, he needs to pay penalty of 5 lakh and also imprisonment of up to 3 years. So, whenever the person is performing this attack, they need to go for imprisonment of up to 3 years and also need to pay the fine of 5 lakh. Means this attack is like, it is very unnoticeable thing, and some they keep on deducting the amount of money, like someone is deducting money from an account, 15 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, somehow 2 rupees, 3 rupees, and see how many accounts they have hacked and how many accounts they log in. So they are getting those money, and this money can be in lump of amount, means this money can also extend. So they are doing it very smartly. Now web jacking, what is that? Refers to illegal redirection of users' browsers from a trusted page domain to fake domain without the user's consent. What is does? Whenever the user is using any link, or whenever user is accessing any link, so what it will do, it will create a page that will show to user that it's a trusted domain page, but they have created a link that will move to you, that they will move the user to the fake domain link which they have created. So by using the method of web checking, what they will do, people visit any well-known or reliable websites and can be redirected to any websites, to any bogus websites, so which can turn into the installation of any malware or leak of personal data. So we should be aware while using any website, any link or any devices. So webjackers are intended to illegally collect confidential information. And what is Hulu? And what is the work of user here? The user will just click on the link, and any link it will show the user that the link is genuine at very first glance, but it is not, because the whole dilemma and the whole we can say process created by the hackers for getting the information. So it will show like that the page which a user is accessing is trusted domain page, but no, it's a fake domain without the users consent. Okay? Then there are no specific provisions which are dealing with web jacking. So however, under section 383 of IPC, which is primarily dealing with extortion, so the punishment for web jacking is under section 383, that the person needs to pay an amount of fine and also imprisonment of up to 3 years. Clear? Now denial of service attack, very important attack. See, denial of service or DOS is a cyber attack on computer device or system, which is preventing the legal users or accessors of the system from accessing them. So basically, the main motive of DOS attack is to prevent the legal users or accessor from the system accessing them. Means when DOS attack or denial of service attack is performed, main motive is to make the services unavailable for the users, for the legal users. So attackers generally attack the system in such a manner that they target the system until it ultimately crashes. Somehow the target is to crash the system, to crash the whole system. So DOS cost millions of dollars to the corporate world. So as it costs them, the system is carrying their own activities. So the attack may be used for can be used to incorporate some ransomwares into corporate system. So basically the attack is to make the system unavailable, inaccessible to users which are the legal users, and also somehow it leads to destroying or crashing the system or crashing the whole computer network. So under the cyber attackers who launch DOS, if any attacker who launch DOS in India, then they are punishable under what? Section 66F. If someone is launching any DOS attack in India, so under section 66F of IT Act, which deals with cyber terrorism, they are punishable. Now, data diddling. See, it's a cyber crime which involves the unauthorized alteration of data entries on a computer. So it may be then either before or during the entry of such data. So it is generally committed by way of some computer virus attack. So at this time, to conceal the data altered, data is changed to original data, but after retrieving the required information. So usually the strategy is the strategic or statistical data of large companies. What is thus? When unauthorized alteration, like the user is not legal, but the user has some information of any company, any organization. So what it will do some type of modification, some type of data entries in a computer system. So it can be done by some computer viruses and attack. So in data drilling, under section 65 of IT attack, they said this section provides some unintentionally concealing, and it has some punishment of up to 3 years, means imprisonment up to 3 years, and they need to fine of up to 2 lakh. So in next lecture we'll discuss cybercrime against security as at large.